Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I wanted to talk about what to expect from Boston Celtics this year on the third team this season. And I want to talk about that I do believe this is a playoff team. And this is a team that people think has gotten worse. And I really just think they haven't. Okay, I think the Boston Celtics, what they've done is they've reverted to be more true to themselves. The teams that made it to the conference finals didn't have any stars. It was a young team. Yeah, one of those years there was Kyrie. I mean, Al Horford, for the most part, was the biggest star of the year that they made it with Kyrie. Correct me if I'm wrong, he was injured. So I think we're going back to them being more true to themselves and playing team basketball and relying on the superstars and homegrown talent that they have. So before we start today's video, I'd love to hear those beautiful comments down below. And when I look at this roster, I think the interesting part is what is going to be the lineup? What's the starting lineup going to be? That's another thing I want to hear down below in the comment section. What do you think the Boston Celtics starting lineup will look like? I think that's definitely the most interesting part because you really don't know. And I obviously know that Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum are going to be there. So I think it's going to go Robert Williams, Jayson Tatum at the power forward, Jaylen Brown either at small forward and shooting guard, and Josh Richardson either at small forward and shooting guard. And I think I'd rather have Jaylen Brown at the small forward position unless Josh Richardson has lost some athleticism, which I doubt, and he can't play the shooting guard and bulks up and play, then he'll play small forward. But I think it's going to be Robert Williams being the starting center, especially that they gave him that extension with Al Horford, Bruno Fernando, and potentially, the center position is definitely another position that's very interesting because look, Al Horford, Robert Williams, Enes Kanter. I think Al Horford and Enes Kanter and Bruno Fernando will be mainly Enes Kanter and Al Horford, unless Bruno Fernando just surprises people. But yeah, I think Al Horford and Enes Kanter will be the primary backups. Enes Kanter will come in the game when they need rebounding and offensive scoring. And I know Al Horford isn't a better defender by much, but he is a better defender still at this point than Enes Kanter. So when they need defense and floor spacing, they put in, our man Al Horford. And then when they need rebounding and defense and, rim running, they put Robert Williams in. And hopefully Bruno Fernando could be like a discount version of what Robert Williams does, even though like in college that wasn't his play style. I watched him. He replaced Diamond Stone at Maryland. I'm from Maryland. I lived there from the 4th grade till I went to college. I went to college at about 20 years old. And Jabari Parker, I expect to be the primary backup with Grant Williams being also splitting time at the 4 position. And also Grant Williams, I believe, will be the small ball 5. With Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown being the 2 leading scorers, I believe Jaylen Brown, if he's the starting small forward, I think Aaron Nesmith is going to be the primary backup to him, and Romeo Langford maybe getting some minutes there, and Josh Richardson also getting some minutes as the backup small forward, with Josh Richardson being the starting shooting guard. And we probably will see maybe a little bit of Peyton Pritchard. They right now have 16 players on the roster, and they also have Sam Hauser on a 2-way contract. So I think Sam Hauser if they struggle to shoot the 3-point ball, you could see Sam Hauser pulled up. And even though he's not a good defender, his 3-point ability might be something that this team needs. And I think we'll see. Look, I think the 4 guards we'll see are Marcus Smart and Chris Dunn will be the defense guys. When they need defense, Marcus Smart will also play some shooting guard, but I believe he'll be the starting point guard, with Dennis Schroeder being the 6th man. And so Marcus Smart and Dennis Schroeder are the primary 2-point guards, with Marcus Smart's backup being Chris Dunn and Dennis Schroeder's backup being Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard can do everything Dennis Schroeder can, like scoring and offensively wise. And Chris Dunn can, if he stays healthy, do everything Marcus Smart does on defense, but isn't as good on offense as Marcus Smart, even though Marcus Smart isn't anything special. So when I look at this question, I think the biggest holes are in, I think, the backups, the depths. I think the biggest question marks with this team are the backups and shooting guards behind Jaylen Brown and Josh Richardson. Will Aaron Nesmith, Romeo Langford, Really, yeah, Aaron Nesmith, Romeo Langford be able to be the primary shooting guard and small forward backups for Jaylen Brown and Josh Richardson. Then same thing goes for the power forward. Will Jabari Parker or Grant Williams or both of them be able to be sufficient backups for Jayson Tatum? I'm fine with the center position if they go by committee with these four guys: Bruno Fernando, Al Horford, Robert Williams, and Enes Kanter, with Robert Williams playing the most minute, and then Al Horford and Enes Kanter splitting the second most minutes, and then the least amount of minutes being Bruno Fernando, unless he just plays way better than Enes Kanter and Al Horford. And then I expect the guy to be cut as Carson Edwards or to be switched to a two-way contract. And I expect the point guard depth to go Marcus Smart, Dennis Schroeder, Peyton Pritchard, Chris Dunn. And I think Chris Dunn will get the least amount of minutes. Peyton Pritchard will get the third least amount of minutes, which still should be 15 to 17 minutes a night, with Dennis Schroeder probably playing like 22 to 24 minutes a night and Marcus Smart playing like 32 to 36 minutes a night. I think this is a team that's definitely at the very least the 8th seed, going to be in the play-in tournament, but I think this team could be the 4th or 3rd seed in the conference. And Udoka, look, he's a Spurs guy, and he's also coming from the Nets, and he's been around. He's been around the block. Is it Emmy? Is it Emmy Udoka or Imi? Is it Emmy? Is it Emmy? Someone tell me how to say his first name. Emmy? But Coach Udoka is a guy that I think he's going to be a little bit more of a defensive-minded coach. This is going to be a very good defensive team. But I think the interesting part is going to come down to when you look. Udoka, again, he became a coach in 2012 and sat on the bench for 7 years with our man, Greg Popovich. And then he spent some time with Brett Brown, all right? So, with that being said, I do believe that he was under Brett Brown, and then he was under Steve Nash. And Brett Brown, Steve Nash, and Greg Popovich are where you got. So when I look at that, I think defensively we're going to see similar. I think he's going to be a good developer of talent, but I also think he's going to be a similar defensive schemes and ball movement that we saw with the Spurs. But I think he's going to be a lot more perimeter oriented and willing to go small ball to how Steve Nash was. So I think he's going to be a combination of Brett Brown and our man Steve Nash. Also, he played for Independiente, which is an Argentine sports club that my dad cheers for. It's his soccer team, but basically in every other country except America, they have sports clubs, and sports clubs, it's how America should do it, but everything, we're capitalists. But this video, guys, I think they'll be the 3rd or 4th seed at the most, at least the 8th seed.